Hello, love. Welcome home to Eden, your portal place with Eve to the feminine divine love that you are hungering for, right? So let's talk about why it is so important for you to understand how to embody all 7 of the most powerful feminine archetypes as a woman, and for you as a man to also know these archetypes within yourself and to honor them in the women around you. So today, the first one I'm going to talk about is Kali. We are in a very fierce realm. This life is not easy here on this planet, especially for the feminine. And so when we call in the archetype of Kali, the goddess of Kali actually does exist. This is the aspect of the deep feminine who protects. She protects with ferocity. She cuts off the heads of any man who would defile the sacred essence of life. Now, we're talking symbolically, of course. I'm not talking about you going on a rampage. No. I'm talking about you saying no. So when you embody the archetype of Kali, this is the first one I want you to get in touch with as a woman. She says no. She says no to date rape. The way she does it is she says no to everything along the way that would have got her into that situation. She says no to any kind of disrespectful talk to her. She says no to any person who puts her in danger and makes her compromised. She says no to relationships that are on men's terms of booty calls and without any courtship or any friendship or any safety for her. She just says no. And she says no for other women too. She sees women in danger. He, the man who is embodying Kali, he protects other women. But, the thing is, the difference between Kali and a woman just being really masculine and, kicking ass to be tough like a man, it's a really big difference. Because the thing is, when you are in your Kali aspect, you are protecting life. You are you see the core of what's missing and what needs to be protected, and you go for what has to happen in order for that reality to be changed from what is wrong to what is right. So Kali has a certain kind of morality that's definitely connected to love and protection of something sacred, whereas when us women go for just being tough like a man, we have nothing at the core other than trying to, the whole point is just to compete with men and win and to get what they want, and more power, more money, and more, endless adventure into the unknown, which is a positive thing that the masculine in us wants. But it is not the same as flowing your Kali archetype, because she doesn't care about money, power, things that are external. Her incredible power, her abundant financial support, her swords and armies come from the core power within all of us that can protect the innocent, that can protect the baby, that can protect the seed of life. So to get in touch with your Kali is really important, and I suggest that you consider what's really important to you and practice saying no. Now, the thing is, Kali, she just devastates anything that's not going her way. And I don't really think that nowadays our embodying Kali needs to be it doesn't need to even be harsh. It just needs to be absolutely empirically clear. So when you say no, when you're out at a party and everybody's getting high and they want to drive, you just get out of the car or don't get in. You say, I'm hitchhiking home, guys. Or you take the keys and you say, sorry, everybody, I'm driving. And you have this power within you that nobody can cross, because you access Kali, you access her. There is no way to cross her boundary. It's a spiritual thing. It's not like you have to know martial arts, or it's actually cutting through to the essence of ultimate authority and destruction of what is negative. Okay, so that is number one archetype for you to practice. Okay, I'm going to go on now to the next archetype. Okay, so when we talked about Kali, we're talking about metal, really, the essence, and also gems, like the pure diamond that can cut through anything, right? So each of these goddess archetypes resonates with an element. So the next elemental goddess to really start to get in touch with, to embody your full feminine, would be fire. And I like the goddess Shakti Kundalini within the Indian pantheon, the pantheon of India. So the thing is, you need all 7 archetypes to really embody your full feminine divine. You've got to practice all 7 of these, okay, to be whole, because any one of them on their own isn't going to allow your full-on divine feminine bliss to bloom. So let's go for fire right now, okay? Shakti, she's the creative energy of the universe that actually moves. A fire. So if you think of fire, fire is like love and passion and joy and laughter and heart connection, that guide in the darkness, that's that light that of fire, that's that heart connection through all things. And it's also sexuality. It is she is also that pure essence of physicalized spirituality that moves through you and rises through your crown chakra into enlightenment, unified with her sexuality, not disassociated from it. So she dances and she creates, and she's active, and she's birthing creativity. This beautiful Shakti energy. But I've always been fascinated that in the United States of America, Western philosophy is often like yin, the feminine, is all passive, or maybe that's China that came up with this, that yin is feminine, yin is passive and receptive, and yang is outgoing and active. But in the Indian pantheon, Shakti is the active one. She's the one who's like whoosh, birthing universes, making the dream of her masculine counterpart. He's just dreaming and dissolving things, and he's letting go of things, but she's just boom, she's actualizing the dream. So get in touch with her, darling. Get in touch with that Shakti. And the best thing to do to get in touch with her for you, whereas with Kali, it's about saying no. With Shakti, it's about creating. Find your art, your dance, your painting, your writing, your cooking, whatever your mothering, your creative energy, and embody things like, don't just think about making a soup for all those kids who don't have anything to eat in the neighborhood. Do it every Monday, when the day when they're most hungry, whatever day that is. And make that soup for the sandwiches for the kids. Do the things that you dream of. That's what Shakti Kundalini is about. She's about actualizing and dance. That is the best way to connect with her energy, is to dance her. Okay, going on. Next goddess. All right, darling. Moving on to Lakshmi, to Jemanja, Oshun, all these different names for the goddess of water. Water is such a mystery, This entity of water is it's life-sustaining. Okay, and then in the ancient Chinese five-element healing medicine, they talk about water having this willpower that flows to the ocean no matter what, and joins with itself. And then I think of the ocean as bliss, the ocean being a deeper love story than fire. So if fire's love story is all about passion and romance, right, and all this fun, water's love story is about bliss, but bliss that moves through all emotions, that has a depth to it, that grieves loss, that yearns, that is afraid at times and has to be really brave. Okay, so, and now we think of how water is life, all life, and now scientists are talking about how all stars are actually born inside a womb of water. So, and then how water records memory. It's everything that has ever happened to water is stored in its cellular memory, its DNA. This is a whole, like, I just watched the Gaia movie on water, and I'm just completely floored, because I've always felt that water is a larger entity for me than fire, and I felt like that's not allowed. But really, if you think about, they're saying, if stars are born in water, then the likelihood that there are millions and millions of planets out there that are all have life on them and water is very, very, very likely. And that okay, so let's go back to Lakshmi. So Lakshmi as a goddess, she's always associated with wealth. And wealth being life, the life force energy of water that would bring the crops, right? That when it rains, everything's okay, and everything's beautiful, and you have a whole nation that is well fed. So when you connect with the goddess Lakshmi, you're connecting with wealth. You're connecting with abundance, and you're being okay with that. You're going, wait a second, I don't have to feel that I need to limit my desires. I don't have to make myself scanty. I need to be like Lakshmi, who rains down on a village and brings life, and I can be extremely abundant. I can have family, and I can have friends, and I can have a home, and I can have meaning, and I can have meaningful work, and I can have prestige, and I can have financial abundance, and I can have a good way to get around, good transportation, and I can have joy, I can have love, I can have really wonderful relationships. So this abundance, water as abundance, and also as ever changing. So you learn from Lakshmi that she makes a peaceful home. She makes a really loving wife. But part of how she's doing it is, water's always changing. She can be a little stream and be babbling along, and then she can be a lake, quiet, peaceful, deep lake, and then suddenly she can be evaporating, and she can be clouds, and then she can be raining down as little raindrops, and now she's frozen. She's on a different part of the world, and she's ice, and she's snow, and so that ability to change form and be fluid and adaptable, and keep going, having your willpower actualizing where you're going to, no matter what, because you're willing to move around obstacles, change your form, evaporate into steam, come down as heavy torrential rain, and then flow into an ocean, and then be oceanically one with this huge power of creation. So Lakshmi, abundance and beauty. When you want to call on your beauty, call on the goddess of water. And when you want to call back that youthful essence of your feminine allure, go to Lakshmi, because she is so beautiful. And you know how it is, that freshness of the rain makes everything beautiful. So I often do my offerings. She's a primary goddess for me. When I do my offerings, I'll ask her, renew my body. And we know that our cells are getting we get all new cells within matters of months throughout a year. So Lakshmi helps you with that, because you can ask her, let's redesign, let's redo my DNA a little here, my illness or whatever my proclivity is from my ancestors. How about you help me to undo that right now and create something more alive, more invigorated. Okay, here we go. Next goddess. Are you still here, love? All right, welcome home to this divine portal, to the divine feminine. So you are working on embodying all 7 archetypes of the feminine embodiment of your power, right? Bringing yourself all the way here as a woman. And as a man, you're also invoking these feminine attributes because you are half woman, man. You're half woman. Okay, and you deserve, all of us deserve her. We've missed her. So the next archetype is Earth. Earth Mother, of course, right? So Earth Mother, she's like cooking and she's cleaning and she's making a beautiful environment. In the archetype, when we embody her, we love crafts, we love making jewelry and gardening and making pottery and sewing things and creating beauty in our home, and mainly parenting, mothering our children, being there with our children to actually love them and to pour our hearts out into their happiness. Now, you think of the Mother Earth, goddess, the way she is. She's just here for everybody. She's getting devastated. She's getting used up, but she's still here. She is the ground under our feet. And from her body comes the abundance of all the foods that we eat. Her harvest. They talk about her in ancient Chinese medicine as opening up her shirt and her bosoms like abundantly flowing with milk for everyone, all her children, all the animals, all the plants, all the people. And what is so tragic right nowadays is that we have so defiled the earth with our pollution, but along with that, we have defiled the archetype of mother, where we're saying things like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I feel so ashamed of that. I've got to farm my kid out to somebody else to raise them so I can work to be okay. So I have an identity like a man. Well, the masculine in us wants an outer identity, and the masculine wants a mission, which is valid. They're both valid, but the feminine in us knows we need no outer identity. Our inner identity is simply our essence of existence. It's enough just to be in the mystery of all this with no answers and no reason other than we wake up with joy and love, and we want to follow that. What we love, who we want to nourish. So getting in touch with Gaia, goddess archetype, it's basically, oh my goodness, it's a practice of revaluing what has been told to us is without value. If we're told that as mothers we are without value and our children can be raised by anybody else than us, and we start to believe that, you can see how the ramifications keep going, where gardeners now are the devaluation of the small farmer, the farmer who feeds everyone, and coming back now in this time where we are inviting true feminine values. What's happening is ecological farming, where eco-sustainability is coming in. There's an incredible movie out called The Biggest Little Farm, where you see how this ancient way of farming is really the way to go, where you let all the diversity of nature come and support every aspect of each plant is supporting each other. And it's really complex. It is not a simple little story where you pour chemicals, you pull out every weed, and now you have a barren land to somehow eat from. So the mother archetype, the Gaia archetype, she's earth, she's roots. She's also values community and depth of friendships. So the whole thing of constant travel and families moving because of the man's career, where there's no value for those friends you've had all your life, and that community that's known you since birth, and the church where you were baptized and your daughter was married. The earth aspect, the earth goddess, values community. She values roots. She values staying in one place and committing long enough to an area so that people expect something of you. And when they expect something of you, instead of feeling like, oh no, I just want eternal freedom, it's actually the core value of the gift that, wow, because they expect something of me, I can give. It's a privilege to give. So that's that Earth Mother energy who feels completely privileged to give. So the terror people have of like, oh no, if I start, doing charity work, I'll be like Mother Teresa. I won't have a sex life, and I won't have any freedom, and I won't have any fun, and I'll have to I'll ope things, and it's out of touch with Goddess Gaia, whose joy is in her powerful bounty being eaten. She doesn't want her fruits to fall on the earth and no one to eat them. She wants the bugs to eat them. She wants the mice to eat them. She wants the people to eat them. So get in touch with your earth aspect by examining your relationship to where you live, your commitment to an area, your commitment to the people around you, your relationship with crafts and cooking. Especially Gaia Goddess gets you in touch with good food that's comforting and alive, and that's, I would just suggest start with gluten-free, no wheat, less grains, lots of fresh fruits, lots of fresh vegetables, smoothies, some protein that works for you. If you're going to do animals products at all, that they're always well cared for animals, that what farm they come from and what kind of life they're having, and that there's absolute gratitude for those animals, that their lives are given respect. So the goddess Gaia gets you eating incredibly lusciously. She's never going to deny you food to be skinny. She likes a fullness of body. She likes, and that would be the men too. The men want the woman to look healthy and strong and well fed. They want to see her eating her food. They're not going to go like, oh my God, she's eating again. What's wrong with her? The masculine who's in touch with his Gaia is going to be like, oh, so comforted when he sees a woman eating and making those sounds of like, because he knows it's just the same as, it's like sex for her, to be well nourished. Okay, so examine to bring in your archetype of your Earth Mother power. Examine how you eat. Cut out white sugar. Cut out, actually, I would cut out milk. And I mean, cheese, and there's different processes for dairy that are easier on the body, but the milk, cows have a couple of stomachs that we don't have. So find whatever your way is, but really start experimenting with food that makes you excited and is magical because of how it's spiced and how it tastes, and they're saying more like the whole keto diet is like fats. Actually, when you don't put sugar with it, you can enjoy fat and not worry about it being too overwhelming for your body, as long as it's healthy fats, pure, like the olive oil and the avocado and nuts and seeds, and you start to go to this really alive level where Gaia, when you eat, you want to be in touch with her aliveness, sprouting your lentils, it's a very exciting thing, especially when you add in, when you're not trying to deny yourself by your healthiness, you're actually trying to up the ante of enjoyment of this festive harvest. So, uh, you're giving yourself more treats, but because you're eating so purely, what's interesting is the body just starts to slim down. It just starts to shed, because when you take away the everything that's been bleached, like all the bleached white flours and even bleached white rice, and you take away bleached white sugar and soda pops and all of these greasy oils like canola that's just not really palatable for your body, and you start looking at what you're eating, the ingredients, and you're going, okay, this has a whole bunch of words I don't know how to say, a whole bunch of chemical compounds, and this just says, oh, tomato and salt, whatever's in it. You know what I mean? So less salt is also helpful, but if you go for the pure salts, like from the Himalaya, that pure sea salt, it's a different taste, a different energy also. So you go more and more pure, and now Gaia Goddess, she starts to radiate through your body, and you start to have a powerful, bigness to you that you love, because it's all self-love. It's a different kind of bigness than it's a strong bigness that comes from incredibly empowering eating, rather than a bigness that comes from self-abuse and really loneliness and just eating because you're in grief and eating anything and junk food to take the place of love. And I understand, because I eat to replace the fact that I still haven't found my man. And the food really helps me to feel like it's related to my sexuality and my self just adoration, like, I love you, I want you to eat well. The mama says this to her kids, I want you to eat well, but also giving ourselves that break. Like Mother Earth, she's got seasons. She's not always in harvest mode. No, she goes into winter mode, and she goes into fall where everything falls away. And so those times of cleansing, your Gaia Goddess will put you in touch with needing to fast. Like I've been doing these fasts where I'll stop eating at a certain time of night, and then I won't eat again until midday the next day. And it'll be like a long 16-hour cleanse. And I'll do that pretty often. And that lightening, that cleansing, it's like fall. It's like winter, where when you're not eating, your body has time to rejuvenate and to get ready to enjoy the next meal. Okay, a lot about food there, but also about mothering, okay? Honoring yourself as a mother. And also, if you don't have kids, being motherly towards others who need it, people who never really had good parents. I have a young woman in my life living with me, and I adore her so much. And the part of me that is in such grief over my daughter's absence, because my daughter is so successful and she's so powerful, she doesn't need me in that anymore other than maybe my love, hopefully. But I miss her so much, and having this young woman in my life, it's just such a gift to me as my mother aspect, to have somewhere to put that love, So getting in touch with your love that needs to go somewhere, instead of putting yourself down like, oh, I'm a loser, my kids are gone and I miss them, or family. Ancient times, it was not like this, where the children just leave and go forever. Family, there were compounds where you could still see your family in the same region and village, and know your grandkids. But people were preparing for that by building their kids' houses, building them, but having land for them. And now the people, spending a whole lifetime to get themselves more better cars, redo their kitchen decor, instead of giving the money to their kids for a home nearby. No wonder we lose our kids, because we're not passing on the bounty. So the earth grounded one would not just expect to get endless love from your kids and devotion. They would do things, grounded, practical things to help their life be okay and be strong. And I think this is a lot why the Jewish community is so much stronger than other communities, because the parents often share their inheritance way before they die. They share their inheritance with their kids when they are, as soon as they're ready to have a family, and they say, okay, let's get you a house, let's get you set up in a business. That's the way the Earth Mother acts. She is a practical, grounded, pragmatic giver. And she puts down roots in community. Okay, next goddess. Okay, we're on the fifth goddess, related to nature and plants. And this would be like the green Tara, for example. Yes, let's just stick with her. So the green Tara, or Kuan Yin, is another one that would work with this element, because she holds a flask of healing medicine. And the green Tara is representing all those green plants of the earth. And okay, so the herbalist, when you want to get in touch with your green Tara lady, you go back to something really, really ancient and very powerful, which is herbal medicine that lasted for centuries. It's how we made it as a species all this time, was herbal medicine, which has only recently been taken over by pharmaceuticals, who are trying to rob us of our, these companies are trying to rob us of our health, basically so they can make money off of our illness, and take us away from the simplicity of how nature is able to heal us. Your witch, your inner witch, those bad women who were burned at the stake, they were burned for their power, for their ability to heal people directly of very terrible things, for their ability to help women give birth safely, for their ability to do prayers and dances that would actualize new realities immediately from their rituals. It's shamanic medicine is what we're talking about. So herbalism's not just the herb, the plant, it's your relationship with the herb. Do you know the spirit of the plant? Have you ever journeyed to the underworld where the plant spirits live, to speak with those, your favorite tree that you always go to, and ask, well, what's your medicine for me? And what is this, would you bless my life? And what would that look like? That's like, that story they tell about how all of these Western scientists go down to the jungle to meet a bunch of shaman, and they want to know, we're here to find the best medicinal plants that you know the secret, and we want you to show us, And the shamans just laugh and laugh at these guys, because they don't get it, that one of these men uses one plant for every ailment. Because he's so in touch with that plant spirit, it will heal anything. And the next shaman, he uses a plant for something that's completely different than the other guy says. It's the opposite, because the shamans are working on a hidden realm that's not just physical. It is physical. It is the actual plant of the Mother Earth that you can taste and put in a tea